probably aren't going to be staring right at that man. The dancing masters do say that face to face, like really face to face, is inappropriate. If we're stuck here really face to face, it looks like we're making love on the dance floor. Oh, tut, tut, bad, right? And so there are all sorts of descriptions of when the man goes to ask the lady to dance, or the lady goes to ask the man to dance. If the man's gloves are too tight and he can't get them off to offer his hand, and they're stuck there face to face, this is totally inappropriate. So you stand just a little bit off, right? Not face to face.
Yeah. What happens with the head as you're coming down? Does it stay in line with the body?
It should stay in line with the body. Now, it's not clear from the Spanish treatises whether the front leg is bent or whether the front leg is straight. So if the front leg is straight, you can't really keep that torso upright, right? Your torso is going to bend, but bend it at the hips and keep your neck, your head in line with your body. So it'd be bum, 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 and don't go don't go bum, right? You can make your choice there, because the Spanish treatises are not clear. The Italians pretty much bend both knees. All right? So our first, most important thing is that reverence. Now, once you've learned that, then you figure out how you use it in relationship to anybody that you come in contact with. So I'm coming in contact with somebody who's very important here. She's the director. And I'm going to do a pretty deep bow to her, right? But I don't know you, you know, right? I'm sorry, you're probably very important, right? So you use the depth of the bow to indicate how important somebody is. And if it were the king, really, really important, right? There's a whole protocol for entering the room when the king's at the other end. So with me, we're going to do a pretty good sized bow, and then I'm going to come in like 4 steps, and I'm going to bow again, a little bit deeper. I'm going to come in a few more steps till I get to him, and then I'm really going to bow, pretend to kiss his knee, and then I will also, I can come back up, I'm going to kiss, presuming I'm giving him a petition, I'm asking for something. Pretend to kiss my petition and give it to him. Then I'm going to bow again, and I'm not going to look him straight in the face. I'm going to look just a little bit off to the right, and then I'm going to back up. And then I'm going to bow again, and then I'm going to back up, and I'm going to bow again.
It's very tedious.
It is very tedious, and your knees get a really good workout, right? So that's the king.
Now, do you hope that the major domo is going to catch you before you go to the wall?
Well, so you need to have a really good sense of space and where you are in space, because you are being watched by everyone. And so this is part of that. We talked about it with the dance. You have to do a good job because you're dancing for everybody. You're presenting yourself for everyone. And so you want to make sure that you do it well. And that's part, doing that bow really well is a really important part of how you will be perceived at court, or whether it's the king's court or the duke's court, whoever is the reigning person, the next most important person beyond you. Good question though. So be aware of your space. Okay, so yeah.
All right, so there we are in the king's salon.
Uh-huh.
And there's a door behind us we have to go through. Is it ever possible to, after bowing a gazillion times on the way back, to sort of look where you're going and edge out?
Probably because the next person's coming in, the next petitioner's coming in, right? And that person is now on stage. That person's the one on the spot coming forward.
Thank you.
Okay. So you've got your bows, and you can choose whether you're gonna do straight leg or not. Usually, in the Renaissance, in the 16th century, we are told to be kind of feet parallel. By the time you get into the 17th century, the Spaniards are saying you can have a little turnout. It's not a lot. There's another bow that Juan de Esquivel Navarro describes, which is instead of just going back like this, he goes in and back, a little decoration. So you kind of feet in and then back, if you want to make it fancy.
But they usually kind of hit the feet really hard when they do that?
No, it's just a little touch.
It's just
It's just a wrap in and then wrap around.
because I have seen something like that before, maybe movies or something like that, but they actually tap the yes. Yes.
Yeah, it does. He doesn't describe it as a beat.
Okay.
It's just a coming in to the arch
Okay.
and back.
Good to know.
So that's an interesting question, though, because there are so many things in the treatises that are not fully explained. So what you see, me teaching you, is my interpretation of the treatise.
Got
And
it.
somebody else will come in and teach you a little bit different variation. It's all as right as we can make it, right?
Right.
Okay, so there's a lot of discussion about what happens in the ballroom. I already told you about the gloves, very important to make sure they're just a little bit loose, gentlemen, or you're going to make fools of yourself on the dance floor if you can't get them off. And you particularly don't want to be pulling them off with your, teeth, because they might get stuck, and then you're really looking foolish. Ladies, you can ask the men to dance, but you have to be very careful, because if you go,
We need a man.
I need a couple of men.
Come on. Señor Cervantes.
Come on, men, you need a couple of
William
men.
Shakespeare.
Get up here. All right, so I'm walking up. Oh, and this is actually great. Thank you so much. I'm going up, and I'm not really being clear. I don't ask. I don't speak to them. I'm just looking. And so if I'm not clear about who I'm looking at, this is going to be bad, right? It's very unclear. So I really want to dance with you. But he thinks I really want to dance with him. So he's going to step forward. Step forward. But I don't want to dance with him. So I say, no, I really want to dance with you. That is so rude, ladies. You cannot do that.
Right.
If I have created this confusion, then I really must dance with Shakespeare. I'm so sorry. All right. So you have to be clear. You have to be clear. Yay! All right. Okay. So did that mean we? Yes. Okay. Great. All right. Cervantes won.
Yay!
All right.
Viva!
Okay, so being clear, and that goes for the men too. The men have to be clear as well. Ladies, if you're sitting and you don't have a mantle on, that means you are willing to dance. If somebody comes and asks you to dance and you say no, that is very rude.
Oh.
Yeah, you can't say no. So you must dance if you're asked to dance. If you have a mantle on, that means you're there, you're enjoying the party, but you are not going to dance. So, all of these little signs that everybody knows. Yeah.
Can you bring your mantle and then remove it? When you want to dance, and then when this person don't want to show up, you can put it back on.
Yes.
I was thinking
That's a great question. The dancing master does not address that question. I think he would say no.
It might be inappropriate.
Yeah.
Either
You
morning
eat-
for the whole night or
You either
You
You
might see
either
that
dance or
loophole.
you don't dance. You're in for the whole night or you're not.
Yeah, so at these parties, because everyone is invited and no one's maybe crashing the party, so is there a class system of maybe one person cannot ask somebody else to dance because they are of a higher class or lower class?
So
Or
the-
no?
That's a great question, and the way it starts is the people highest in caste will dance first. And then it goes down the line. So usually these would start with couple dances, and we didn't really develop a couple dance to show this time, but it would be a kind of complicated dance that would really show off the dancers and their abilities, and then the next lower couple in the caste system would dance, status system would dance, and on down the line. And eventually, everybody would dance, or we'd end up in a big circle of a group dance. We did a dance, was that last night? Yes.
Yes.
Where we started out with the ranking man who went to the ranking lady and they danced, and then she picks the next ranking man, and we all end up adding in people by rank all the way down and end up in a group.
So I'm sorry, we dancing.
Yeah.
In these ranks, each single rank had a different dance,
No.
or they all
No, they could
don't
all
matter.
do, yeah, so there are,
Okay.
especially in Spain, there's a curriculum of dances.
Mhm.
So everybody would be learning, the same dances.
Okay,
Yeah,
so everybody will have the same dance.
Yeah.
It's not that higher hierarchy have another elaborated
No.
dance. Or not.
right, exactly.
Interesting.
But,
Good
or,
question.
or is it more that you could choose from a list of like 4 or 5 dances that you might know? So
Yeah,
you
you
say,
might.
I want to do a canary and I want to do a galliard.
Well, possibly, but everybody knows all the dances.
Oh.
So the men all go to dancing school, and Juan de Esquivel Navarro, actually, that's what his treatise is about. It's about the dancing school, really, and how the dancing master interacts with his students, what he teaches, and he lays out his curriculum. He doesn't do a good job of saying, this is how you do the pavana, this is how you do the gallarda. But he says, these are the dances that are part of the curriculum, and this is how the dancing master behaves, and this is how the students have to behave. He does also talk about challenges, actually. So, yes, I was looking for you. So, so somebody might say, I'm a better dancer than you, and I'm gonna challenge you. So I'm gonna go to your school and challenge you. I'm gonna challenge you. Yeah, I'm challenging you. So I'm coming to your school and I'm saying, I'm a better dancer than you and I'm challenging you. Now, the challenge is to do all the school curriculum dances better. But we each will have seconds, and our seconds will be cap, cape, and sword, just in case. Yeah? So it could get messy.
With that,
Really?
how often in Spain was the dancing master also the fencing master, as happened
Yes.
all over the rest of Europe?
It did happen. And I can't say how often, but it did happen because they were trained. And Navarro, Esquivel Navarro, actually, some of his steps are described with language that I think came out of the fencing.
Well,
Terminology.
even the basic positions, there's
Yeah.
this and it's
So
ready
you
for
have
the
your
sword.
fourth position. Occidental, evidently comes from fencing forward and extraño back. So those are words that he's using in his step descriptions. So they're very closely related, and I sort of love the description of the challenge because it's very, very lengthy, and how you have to show up and how you have to dance, and if it's a tie, what happens then, and if it gets out of hand, your dancing master also has to be there with his sword and his cape and his hat.
And how many of the dancing
That's intense.
positions allow the man to hold and control his blade?
Yeah, so you almost always have to hold the blade to control it.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're doing a dance that is leaping, a leaping dance, so a gallarda, any dance that's leaping. And if you're in a dance that has a lot of people in it, you need to have your hand on your hilt and keep it in close so it doesn't flare out.
It would actually kind of tuck in down to about here.
Exactly. And then the other thing is you don't go way too far. You don't, this is how you tell somebody who is both a good swordsman and a good dancer, you don't push down on the hilt in front, because can you do the angle of the blade here? The blade comes up Yeah. here.
So, yeah, so it's going to rest about here on her hip, right? Hilt comes up to about here. If it's sitting naturally, we'll slide down to about here. Has anybody got a stick of any kind? No?
Can y'all picture this?
Right, so I've got the hilt here, and quite a fancy cup hilt that's in Spain, is coming down on this angle. As I'm dancing, I'm gonna move that one outward just slightly so that it comes in a little bit behind my body, so that as I'm turning and spinning, I'm not whacking, everybody's ankles. If, through this fulcrum, she pushes down on that, suddenly that's going this way. If you get really, really sloppy with that hand, your sword's gonna go boop and spill out onto the floor, and then you look at
Yeah, so that's not only dangerous for the other people, but it also looks stupid. And one of the dancing masters says, it looks like the Capitano in the Commedia dell'arte.
Oh,
Yeah. Right? Stupid. So, okay, so that's for the gentleman. I don't know if the lady wants to put on a corset or not. Oh, yeah. Okay, we got a lady.
We don't know things.
Hey.
Qué bella, mi amor. Gracias, mi amor.
Yay.
Ay, Lucio, ¿cómo hice de esto? Vamos
So
a
underneath the little costumes,
was at a play last
got-
weekend and she was there.
corsets for the ladies.
Oye, oye, y me invitó a voluntariar. Y aquí está. Va a estar de voluntaria.
Not that it was
Si
like.
me ponen, si me asignan.
A time sheet.
So I'm not really gonna lace her up because that takes way too much time.
Sí, yo iba a ir para allá.
But I wanna get her.
Sí, yo iba a ir, pero tenía que cubrir esto aquí, tenía un montón de cosas. I had a bunch of stuff too. Pero aquí estoy. It was meant to be.
For any gentleman in the audience, I want you to know that I'm her father, and I did teach a fencing school for a while, so.
So are you warning me about something?
Ya la he hecho, ¿no?
Wonders why she can't get it.
I was just saying, just embarrassed her.
The boy has to date the
palabra.
daughter and the dad
No
cleaning
pienso.
the gun on the table.
So she's in this corset. It's got what we call the bust bone in the front.
Ah, no.
And
Eso
it
parece
keeps
la
her
de
pretty
Wonder
upright.
Woman.
So, not in Spain, but in France and in England, a dance called the Volta used this corset, where this was actually used as, a lever to lift the woman.
Whoa.
So,
Huh?
What's it made out of? Is that
¿Cómo?
made out of steel?
Oh, when dancing.
Oh, wow.
Got you.
Bum 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 dun da da dun 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 da da dun 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 da da.
and so I would take her up,
Wow.
around,
Nice.
up,
Wow. But you gotta jump.
I've been told tell that was Queen Elizabeth's workout every morning.
Wow.
So,
Just wanted that.
so that's a part, a Galliard variation, dun, 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 up.
A ver, ahora. Ay, me tengo que ir. Oh.
So, this is a really important part of the lady's clothing. She might give the bust bone to a very special gentleman. That's a gift. So it would actually, it doesn't come out of this corset, but you can fix it so it comes out of other corsets. It no longer comes out of this one. It used to come out of this one. And it could be a gift to the gentleman. Whoa.
Oh.
Now,
What was
what
that?
that,
Huh?
what that accomplishes
La parte de
is,
adentro.
it gives you just a little bit more flexibility in the torso. Now, I don't know what you want to do with that. Good job. Another thing the lady wears is, of course,
Te van a poner a por un taller ahora.
A las 6.
and there are all sorts of directions about the
Buscar,
twister.
me dice. Porque
Because
tengo que salir.
you
¿Quieres
have
ir
to be
conmigo?
careful the way you
Tengo que
sit.
ir a buscar, a firmar un contrato. Y
Pero tú estás grabando esto.
ay no, porque quiero ver la parte del
Don't sit
abanico.
too far back. Because if you do,
Pero es a las 15. Voy a tener
you
que
don't
salir
have a chair
corriendo y
that's far
volver.
enough back. If you do, this
A las
happens.
9.
That's really bad, right? Now, some of the dancing masters talk about the ladies doing that deliberately to show off their petticoats, and that is
Hay
very
un
acceptable.
montón de voluntarios, no creo que te van a parar.
Well, in the 19th century, you pick up the back slightly as you sit down, which pushes the front down when you sit.
Yeah.
I don't know, do you do
So
it
that
back
you're not
then?
supposed to pick up your skirt. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to maneuver the train underneath the chair,
Wow.
sit halfway on the chair so
Wow.
that it doesn't come up. Now, the men
That's
are also
uncomfortable.
told to sit halfway on the chair. It's interesting because the direction is don't sit all the way back because your feet may not reach the ground. And so this is really interesting to me. You've got a problem with your sword
Yeah.
if you go too far back.
Mm.
This is the posture for the man. Okay?
He's already ready.
No accent.
That's the reason why the furniture was so wide back then.
I don't know
Going
about
back?
wide, but from front to back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of the furniture was really
It's-
wide, while other furniture were like kind of small.
So if you go all the way to the back with the way it was, then the men won't be prepared. I mean, if he's way back,
If I sit this way, it just doesn't work.
it doesn't work, but if he's also way back, he's not prepared if something happens. He can't react
Here.
fast enough.
No, but I'm thinking about the furniture being wide for because of the hoop
Oh.
skirts
Yeah, I think
to
it's-
accommodate those.
Yeah, I
maybe.
think it's both men and women. I mean, I think it's really a part of the culture. You need to not show off anything that you're not supposed to be showing off, but the men have to be prepared to react.
I had a question about that. If you're doing a leaping dance, the skirt is obviously gonna come out somewhere on the leg. How much social prohibition was there about that, of the outer skirt coming up?
So, at least for my costume, and I think this would hold true, you've got definitely one and possibly two skirts over that hoop skirt. You've got petticoats either over or